the name of your company?
My name is Chris, and my company is Ibis Bakery.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Kansas City and have lived here for pretty much my whole life.
Did you go to college? If so, where, and what was your major, and what was your favorite class?
I went to college. I went to 4 different colleges, actually.
Wow.
I started out at Loyola, University of Chicago.
Yeah.
And I played soccer on their soccer team there.
That's cool.
And then I came back and went to junior college at Johnson County Community College in Kansas City. And then I went to Baylor for a semester, and then I ended up graduating from Mid-America Nazarene University in Olathe, Kansas.
Okay.
And my major was theology.
Okay.
And my favorite class was actually just church history. I'm really into history.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's really cool. When you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a landscape architect, so a person who designed landscapes outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who would you most like to have dinner with?
Probably my wife right now. We don't get enough time together.
Yeah. That's cute. Where is your company located?
We have a couple different locations. So we started right next to Black Dog Coffee House in Lenexa, Kansas, off of 87th and Roseville Road.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have a location, which is one we're sitting at, in Kansas City, Missouri, off of 16th and Grand Boulevard. So we have 2 bakeries.
Okay.
And we also run for Very, which is another little bakery in the west side on 17th and Summit. And we just do bread and pastries out of there.
Okay. When and where was your company founded?
We were founded in 2013, I believe. And it had been kind of a process. I was originally into coffee stuff, and we had other family members who were interested in sort of the same things, like sustainable agriculture and just positively impacting supply chains from a farm to the end consumer.
Mm-hmm.
And we were originally going to start it out on the West Coast, but we decided to do it in Kansas City for a variety of reasons. And I was the most interested in bread, baking, and food, so I kind of took on that component, because the original concept was to do coffee and bread together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how it started, or at least the bakery portion of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is unique about your business?
We do everything by hand, as far as the bread and pastries go. So that kind of limits us to only being able to produce as much as we can still by hand, and we don't compromise quality. So we have sort of this threshold that we'll produce up to, and then we use sourdough, which is it's a mild version of sourdough, so it's not what people traditionally think of as sourdough. Mm-hmm. It's a culture that it's just flour and water, and it ferments with bacteria and yeast from the air and your hands and stuff, and it you feed it twice a day, and it is a leavening agent for our croissants and our bread and a lot of the other stuff that we do. So I think that's what makes us unique. And we're able to manipulate that because we focus on doing everything by hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who are your customers?
Our customers are from all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And all different ages. So we don't really have a specific segment.
Okay.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get your idea or concept for the business?
I think, as I said before, it was actually my brother-in-law who originally had the idea of doing bread and coffee together out on the West Coast, and it sort of flourished from there. It took on different identities since then, but that was kind of his little input, big input actually, that caused us to start it.
Okay, and why did you start in Kansas City instead of the West Coast?
We started in Kansas City because we had other family members who were here that were wanting to participate in the companies, and we were currently living here. I think it's like a really cool time to be in Kansas City doing food things, because a lot of people are into it, and there's so much opportunity because it's a lot less expensive to live here. True. And to pay for a building and stuff. So I think it's just it just felt like the right time to do it in Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get your company to be where it is right now?
We've kind of just been along for the ride. I'm not really sure how it is the way it is.
Yeah.
It's taken a lot of work.
Yeah.
And we just haven't compromised on quality and our sourcing and things, and I think that's propelled us at least, but I often ask myself that question.
Yeah. How big was your team when you first started, and how big is it now?
Our bread, so we just started, for Ibis, we just started doing bread, and it was just me.
Okay.
And my wife sold bread, and I baked bread, and that lasted for a couple months, and then my brother baked with us for a little bit. My brother-in-law, Trevor, who was the guy who sort of like had the original idea, he started to, he was like doing a lot of other behind-the-scenes stuff, and then my mom owns Black Dog, so we were baking in the back first place, and my dad was helping us like strategize on stuff. So we directly for the bakery side, we just had 2 that were focusing on that, but we had other people that were focusing on a lot of different things for the different things that we're doing, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were some of the struggles you went through with your company at the beginning, and what are some things you and your company still struggle with?
Yeah, that's a good question. At the beginning, I think we just struggled with just not knowing what we were doing really, or what we were sort of getting ourselves into. There was just like lots and lots of experiments. I slept in the bakery multiple times because I was afraid the dough was going to go too fast. And and I think just like we've grown pretty fast. So I think we currently just struggle with backfilling with infrastructure to like make our business run better and more efficient, and have our employees have a better work life, and also for us to have a better like balance between work and outside of work. So that's I think our biggest current struggle.
Okay. How did you find people who saw your vision and were willing to help you build your company?
I think we had that from the beginning. Like we had people, and one of the great reasons why we are this part of Kansas City is we just had a lot of support from day one. So I don't think we really actually had to actively search for those people.
Okay. That's good.
They just sort of like came together. Yeah.
Did you have trouble financing your company? If so, how did you overcome that?
Yeah, my parents have helped finance it, and another one of the reasons why we did it in Kansas City, because to finance like a project like we've just completed here at Messenger Coffee, out in other places would have been 10 times more expensive. So we were able to do something unique in Kansas City because of that.
Okay. Do you own 100% of your company, or do you have partners?
We have a lot of partners. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have 6 or 7.
Okay, so you guys.
Yeah.
So you guys all split a percentage. Okay.
And then, like the bakery side has some ownership in this space, and so does the coffee company, and so then they have a few different partners than we do. So there's a lot of people that have ownership in what we're doing.
Okay.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many hours do you put into your company a week?
Oh, I think I'm like physically here a lot. So when we first opened for the few months, we just opened a few months ago with this space, and I was like at probably over 100 hours a week.
Wow.
And I now probably put 60 to 80. Okay. I would say.
Yeah.
between thinking about it and doing it.
Wow. How can people get more involved with entrepreneurs in their community and outside their community? Like getting connected with other entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Just to I don't know, have like friends who can maybe help them, stuff like that, help each other. Yeah.
I know there's several organizations. We're not really part of them at this point, but we've had the most success getting connected by just collaborating. So we may say, here's a restaurant that would like to serve our bread, and then we get connected to them through that process. And if we can do, like, there's a lot of different ways that we can collaborate because we use a lot of local vendors, and a lot of those local vendors are people who started their own businesses. You can just establish relationships that way. And yeah, I think that's a good question. I think that's something that we could be doing a lot more of and be a lot better at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the first step in starting your own company?
I think normally it would be like having an idea and making a business plan, but we did not do that very thoroughly. We just had an idea and started doing it. So having an idea and starting a business plan, and then figuring out your financial plan from that would be probably my suggestion.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. If you had one piece of advice to someone just starting out, what would it be?
I think I would just say at least explore it until it doesn't make sense anymore. Yeah, because I think oftentimes people have good ideas and just don't choose to pursue it because they anticipate a lot of things going wrong or being in the way or being scary. And that doesn't mean you can't take the next step and then the next step and then the next step. So yeah, just taking the steps forward.
Okay. If you could have 15 minutes with your former self to communicate any lessons you've acquired with the intention of saving yourself mistakes, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, I would say don't be so much of a perfectionist. Because I think I have a tendency when I get tired or there's a new thing coming up that I'm supposed to focus on, I'll get overly nitpicky, and I think that comes at the expense of relationships and even myself and bettering what we're doing. I think collaboration is really important, and it's hard to collaborate with someone who's criticizing all the little things, which I have a tendency to do. So I'd say just take a step back and quit focusing so much on absolute perfection and embrace the idea that you're bettering this thing over the course of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any open positions at your company? If so, what are they?
Yeah, we're currently looking for a front of house manager. So someone who would be focusing on the way our new cafe feels and customer interactions and organization. We're looking for at least one baker who would be able to cross over between bread and pastry, and food runners, so people would be taking out food. Yeah. Pretty much always hiring at this point.
How do you use social media?
For Ibis, we use it as a tool to allow people to connect with what we're doing. We don't use it as a thing that says come try this thing or come visit us. And not that that's bad at all. We just have taken a different route because our community in what we're doing with the bread and pastry is more connected throughout the United States and the world. So there's not a lot of places doing similar things, and because of that, we really want to connect with those people because we can learn a lot from them and collaborate with them. And we've tried different things, and for the social media piece, we we will utilize different platforms for different ways of communication. So like Facebook would be a way that we communicate events or things to people in Kansas City, and Instagram would be something where we just like show what we're doing to the rest of the baking community and the people who support us. So and I think we're still trying to figure out what that actually looks like fully. But it's a great tool, and it's allowed us to be a lot better at what we do.
Mm-hmm. What are your social media apps?
At Ibis Bakery, and then at Messenger Coffee. Kind of like it overlaps what we're doing in this new space.
Mm-hmm.
And then at BD Coffee House is where we tie in a lot of our other bakery stuff.
Okay.
And then at Fervere, Fervere, is our other space in the West Side.
Okay. And what social medias are you guys on?
We're currently on Facebook and Instagram primarily.
Okay.
Like we have Twitter, but our primary focus is Instagram and Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What's your favorite quote?
I don't remember who it's by, but it's it goes something like, don't ask yourself what the world needs, ask yourself what makes you come alive, because what the world needs is people who have come alive.
Okay.
And I think, especially with our progression in the way that we've approached our business, thinking about here's these systems that we can participate in, that we can supply places, we can help fix something that's a little bit broken, or help create
Mm-hmm.
something that makes this economic situation better for, say, a person who's growing grains
Mm-hmm.
right around Kansas City. If to focus on that, and then forget about the fact that I get really excited about just making a loaf of bread.
Mm-hmm.
Like I personally do. If I think too much about the other thing, I not only can't accomplish that as well, but I also like am not fulfilling what gets me really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you for allowing me to interview you.
Yeah. It was great to have you.